Okay, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Few things. Some earnings came today. Walmart, HDSC, and Cat announced a buyback. Few things that we'll just talk about. First, let's just go over SPX. So by looking at this chart, right? Just by looking at this chart, I mean it's pretty evident if you guys look at the moves we spoke about this yesterday as well, that a bounce to this zone is very likely, right? The bounce to this zone right here, right around these zones, is very likely in the coming days, right? And today we do have a nice little gap up, and one comparison that I do want to share with you guys is that we have expiration tomorrow, and based on that, let's see what happened in April. So in April 20th, the dates are also in the gamma report. If you guys look at them, right, you guys can see it. But in April, before the VIX expiration, this right here, these days, right, we actually had a nice little run into the VIX expiration. All right, so that's tomorrow. And let's see, today we already have a huge gap up. We do have a huge gap up, and we are near resistance. The question is, can we hold and continue running to the upside all day, right? Or do we dip and then maybe run all day? Basically, the upside move that they're gonna do, right? I was buying SPX calls a lot yesterday, in and out, right? But I did not hold them overnight. I don't trust anything overnight. Had I held them overnight, of course they would have paid a lot at the open. But this is going to be a very painful grind up. LB and myself, we often mention in the chat that this is going to be a hard little grind up. It's going to be painful. So if you buy calls, you got to sit through it, maybe hold depending on your risk. Personally, I'm not holding much overnight, and nor I will unless I see a legitimate reason, then maybe. But for now, if you're playing the upside, it's going to be a very tricky way to play upside. All right, but let's see today if we can hold the gap, or do we sell off? I have no idea. All right, but personally, I want to get puts around these levels right here. This is the level that I'm looking for to get puts, this rejection right here. All right, I think this will be a great place to add some puts, into June and so on, some swing puts. But let's see, it might take some days before we get there. Today we do have Powell speaking. We have I believe we have another Fed speaker. If somebody can just mention the chat, and let's find out. Right, I'm not in no rush. This is a very like this trading environment right now requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of good entries. And again, sizes, managing sizes required in every kind of trading environment. But now you have to trust in your moves. Basically, if you believe in something, you gotta let it play out, right? So that's pretty much it. And let's see where that goes on from there. And on SPX, we do have the volatility trigger at 43.50. All right, at 43.50, which is still far, and around 4,300 is when I'm looking to take my shorts. And we do have some positions coming off, maybe today, maybe this week, and then where the market can rally. They basically act as support, and then there could be a rally into the market also. All right, so expect some bounces. Nothing goes straight down. We do need some moves up right now, and they will be healthy if we get them, because we can then play the market again. Right, but if we continue going in one direction, then it becomes very hard. Okay, that's that. And with this, now next we'll go over to Walmart. So Walmart beat their revenues, right? They beat their revenues. Their earnings per share fell, and I think their guidance was soft. It was not as much as people were expecting. And Walmart's down $10, right? Walmart is down $10 pre-market. If I just is down almost $10 pre-market from where it closed. Okay. And it's opening at 138, 139. Personally, I think I would probably buy a Walmart today for a bounce towards 144. I think a bounce towards 144 can happen today. So bounce towards this zone is definitely possible. But let's see. I mean, unless the market sells off, then this can also sell off. Right? I would probably just wait until the premiums settle a little bit now that the earnings are over, and then we see. Technically, if we go on the weekly on Walmart, right, it tried breaking out a few weeks back. It tried breaking out. This chart reminds me of one chart, two charts. I'll just put them over. I don't know if that's gonna happen or not, but I'll show it to you guys, and I think you guys might agree with me. IWM will go on the weekly, and we'll just go. Where is it? Right here. Now you guys see this IWM chart on the right. It looks beautiful, right? Walmart also looked similar right here, right? You guys see the similarities here on the weekly chart, similar pattern. And then let's see what happens to Walmart next. We already know what happened to IWM next few weeks. right? Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it's a possibility these patterns repeat, and the same thing can happen on Walmart. We can definitely go test these lows. All right, we can definitely go test these lows. Okay, so keep these in mind for the next coming weeks and months. All right, because down the road in the coming months, I do see that we do break lower in the markets. Okay, so we'll see how that plays out. And Home Depot, their earnings were good, and they announced of good guidance, right? Anyone that announces great guidance or gives a positive outlook or says better things than expected, they're usually positive movement in pre-market on their earnings. We've seen that before, and I've been covering this ever since I've been doing pre-market. If your guidance is strong, market will like it. They'll probably give you more thumbs up, and your stock is likely to gain for that day. Today, Home Depot is opening up pre-market, but one thing that we do need to understand that this happens to be tough resistance. All right, and this earnings, we have also seen that a lot of earning gap ups have been sold. All right, a lot of stocks that gapped up have been sold, and a lot of stocks that gapped down, they also sold off. All right, so earning gap ups have been weak this earnings season. So be careful if you're trying to go long just after Home Depot earnings. I'm not saying it can't run; it can't run, but just be careful. The trend is they usually sell off, right? But if the market holds today and we rip, then there's a good chance that Home Depot might also stay above 310. But 310 on Home Depot will be super hard. 310, this level right here. All right, and I do like this pattern. This is sort of a falling wedge pattern, right? If I was just to draw it, I won't use the trend lines, but just very quickly. It's a very good pattern, right, to the upside. So let's see if we can maybe test the 50 MA on Home Depot in the coming days. It's possible. C Limited also on their earnings were not bad. They were in line, and they have a little gap up in the pre-market. These names got beat up a lot. Okay, they got beat up a lot, and sometimes when the bounces happen on these names, and if you catch the right time, this is a weekly chart by the way, and it's disgusting. So let's just go over ugly daily, daily, and just ride this 50 MA. I would say if SC comes near towards 50 MA, it's I think worth a shot of another short. Right, this stock I would not be surprised if it takes out the lows again sometime this year again. All right, the way these stocks got beat up, they can go much lower. I mean, they're already so low, but they can go even much lower given the market sentiment and what's about to happen in the coming months. All right, the households here have already started talking about recession. When the households start talking about recession without them following the stock market, that's when you know things are about to get worse in the coming months. That's when they get laid off work. That's when all these other things happen, right? So people from my own family and friends, who do a general just normal work, they're actually worried about their jobs not being laid off, right? Because of so many expenses and their mortgages are crazy. So these things are gonna fall into the stock market eventually, right? I mean, that's where it's all affected. So in the coming months, I do see lower in the markets. Any bounce, any rally that we get in the market, maybe for 1-2 weeks, if we do get the greens, I would love them because that just gives me an opportunity to add on to shorts for the coming months, right? So patiently waiting for that, and let's see. CAT also announced a $15 billion buyback. For me, that's bearish. Certain points, I do say the buybacks are good in a strong market. I like them. In a market like this, when we know or we have an idea of what's happening in a longer time frame, and companies that announce buybacks, be careful of those companies because they know way before us what's about to happen to their stock. All right, so CAT, I do expect this much lower in the coming months because when this stock is at the lows, that's when they're going to start their buybacks. That's when they're going to kick in their buybacks and start buying when they know that is worth buying here, right? One stock, Apple, when they announced a $90 billion buyback, as soon as they announced it, I said this news is super bearish. Some people disagreed with me, right? Which is fine, but that news was super bearish. Apple knew that the stock's about to dump. They're not going to announce a $90 billion buyback and start buying this stock at their all-time highs. That's Apple, man. They like sucking the blood out of you. They want every single penny of yours. They're not going to do their buybacks right at the all-time highs. They announced it right on point when they know that the market is about to shift lower, recession, all these talks, and it's going to break. They're probably going to activate their buybacks right here, right? Around these levels, this is when they're going to start buying it slowly when the markets are down. All right, this is when they're going to start buying the stock and hold a base, and then obviously in the coming after many months, then the uptrend starts. Now these are just my views. That's why I see what's Apple going to do, but God knows what's going to happen. But this is the views that I'm going to stick to. All right, any buybacks announced in these months in these earnings is a big sign. So Caterpillar is a huge sign for me that is bearish for the coming weeks and months. All right, and but buybacks usually is good. Is it now? It shows that okay, the company sees value in their stock, but just at the right time. So don't get me wrong there. And Tesla, a lot of bearish flows in this name yesterday, right? On the weekly, it looks disgusting, and I will draw my zones where I do want to pick this stock up. My first entry will be, where is it? Right here. This is the zone where my first entry will be, and if we fail that zone by any chance, then the next entry will be in this zone right here, which is roughly in the 300s. Now the thing with this stock is I do want to let you guys know, I know a lot of people love Tesla. I love Tesla. I love Elon Musk, right? I agree with him most of the things. I disagree with some, but my comments don't really matter. I mean, he's the richest guy in the world. This stock can be sideways for many years, longer than you can think. All right, don't be like, okay, Tesla is made highs that is gonna shoot up again, right? Don't have that mindset, because technically, if you go back in the historically in the last 25 years or into the tech bubble, there were many companies like Tesla. Tesla is different now, but what I'm trying to say is the charts when those companies also rose so much. All right, so expect, if you're buying these dips in Tesla, make sure you have the longer term view, not like at 1 or 2 years of views that Tesla is going to take all time highs. All right, expect the sideways movement for many months. All right, for me, when I buy Tesla here, it will not be a trade. I'll write this down here. When I buy them here, it won't be a trade, it will be an investment. All right, there's a difference. All right, there's a difference. So when I buy at these levels, that will be an investment for the longer term in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, and for now, guys, on voice chat, great plays are called out yesterday. Congrats to you guys. A lot of patience practice in our room, which is great. We're not just giving money away to the markets. We understand that, you know, it's time to sit back and just watch if nothing is there, right? Mondays is usually volatile, but it wasn't as volatile. And today, into VIX expiration tomorrow, I think the market holds. But if we sell off, then we sell off, because we already have a huge gap up. Let's see if the gap holds, right? And if some plays come in and flows are supportive also, and we see something, it'll be announced right away. And practice patience. You guys will thank yourself. You guys will thank yourself.